Well, hey everyone, this is James from Mad River Homestead here in Southwest Ohio. And first thing I'd like to do is thank you for stopping in to watch this video. Recently, we had a really big snow here in Southwest Ohio. At our house, we had right around a foot of snow on a Saturday going into Sunday. And then on the following Friday, we had another 3 to 4 inches that came down on top of that. The last time this area had a snow over 10 inches was in 1998. So that's a big snow here in Southwest Ohio. And it really got me to thinking about being prepared. And, even when you're living this kind of life every day, day in, day out, going out and feeding animals and building shelters and things like that, sometimes you just forget to be prepared for some things. For instance, when I was shoveling that snow, the snow shovel that I have got a little crack in it. And fortunately, I was able to still make it work. But it made me think, why don't I have a backup shovel? And another thing that snow really made me realize is how big our driveway is. So I've already gone on Facebook Marketplace and found a good deal on a decent snowplow for my ATV. So that's going to be my next project, is installing that. But it really made me think about some of the things that I have done to prepare for these cold temperatures and the snowy days and things like that. So I just wanted to make a video to kind of share that. And I would ask you, please make comments down below. Let me know some of the things that you've done to prepare for winter, for snow, for things like that that you get, those. And it doesn't have to be winter and snow, even, a heavy rain. What are you doing in advance? By in advance, I don't mean necessarily the day before, although there always are some things to do then as well. So I hope you enjoy the video. The first minute of this video is in portrait mode. I was shooting it just to send to my cousin, but decided to keep it. Supposed to go to Detroit on Wednesday. Look at my motorcycle over there. Supposed to go to Detroit on Wednesday, so I was thinking about coming out here and shoveling down to about where the red truck is, just enough that I can back my car out. Whew, man, that's gonna be a job. Those snow drifts, they're like 2 feet in some places. But if I can get that far, then I can just roll over back and forth in four-wheel drive with the truck, and I'd be able to get out. Let's see what I can do. The snow finished falling on Sunday, and Monday I went out and did some paths out to the driveway, and I'll show you some other ones in the backyard. But I had gone out on Sunday when there was about 3 or 4 inches and done some shoveling. But fortunately, my neighbor across the road had someone plowing his driveway. I had gotten out to about where that grassy spot is there on the left, and he came over and did the rest of my driveway, which was a godsend. But that's when I decided, James, you either have to get a snowblower or a plow for the ATV. Now this is the path that I made going out to the back area where the animals are, with a little detour off to the greenhouse. Margie needed to get in there. If it was just me, I might not have even done a path, but I had to go out of town for a couple of days, and I didn't want her to have to slog through that deep snow. The drift between the greenhouse and the fence there was about 2 to 2.5 feet, and it's really made a difference. I'm really glad I did it because it's made going out there a lot easier. We have to do it multiple times a day during these really cold times because water freezes over. You want to go out there and check on the animals from time to time. Some people see these dogs like you see here outdoors during weather like this and think it's cruel, but this is a Maremma sheepdog. She is one of our livestock guardian dogs, and they were built for this kind of weather. They absolutely love it. Hey, girl. Seems so foreign to you and me to see a dog laying down in the snow, but you can see she's very happy. She does love to come over to the gate and get her little pets in, though. Water is the toughest thing during the really cold times. We don't have water spigots out by the animals, so every morning I bring a couple of 5-gallon buckets and pour hot water on top of the ice. So that gives them a couple of hours of definitely having water that they can get to. And then several times during the day, just come out, break the ice, let them get to the liquid. A lot of times I'll scoop out the big chunks of ice as well. And other than that, one of the things that I make sure that we do is have a dry place out of the weather for them. The animals can take the cold temperatures no problem, but you don't want them wet during those cold temperatures. And that's one of the things in preparing that I made sure we did was have shelter that they can get into away from the weather when they need to. If you've been watching the channel a little while, you know that I built a new chicken coop back in the summer, and that has really helped a lot to have that extra space for our chickens. It's very, very tight. There's no drafts in it. We did have some snow that was blowing sideways, so it blew a little dusting up in at the top where we have the airflow. You know, people ask me all the time, you know, what do you do in the winter for the chickens? Do you heat their coop? And I will tell you, we absolutely do not use any kind of heating elements in our coops. I do use the deep litter method, so that helps. That generates some heat. The composting of the chicken poop and the pine shavings. That's what we use, and that composting effect does give off a little bit of warmth. But chickens can take temperatures down to minus 20 degrees. So I've never had a worry about that. Every once in a while, they might get a little bit of frostbite on their combs, but that's really not a huge deal. As you see there, we have a heated waterer, so we don't have to worry about the same thing we do with the dogs and the goats. I'll check it obviously every time I go out there because if it somehow got unplugged or stopped working, we would have a big ice cake there instead of water. But that has really been a game changer. You do avoid that problem of having to go out and give fresh water for the chickens every day. I am really glad I had the forethought to make these paths through the snow out to the animals. I'm editing this video about 3 weeks after that initial snowfall. We still have as much as 3, 4 inches on the ground in some places. And it's really been a help having that path to walk through. With myself going out of town for business, it's been really helpful for Margie as well. What are you doing in there? Well, this is just a little less than a week after the big snow. You can see none of the big snow is left because it's been so cold. And last night we got another, looks like probably about 3 more inches on top of it. Now I need to get my trash cans from around the corner there all the way down to the road. That's gonna be fun. And I'll just kind of clean up the walks here so we have a path at least. And we'll be good. Sure is pretty. Not as much as I remember. So with the additional 3 to 4 inches, we had a total of about 15 to 16 inches of snow in our area. So we're just trying to make sure everybody's staying comfortable. We don't forget about those wild birds. We love having them around. Making sure the cats have a nice warm spot in the garage and that they're well fed. Their water does continually freeze when it's this cold, so we're constantly breaking that and taking out chunks of ice. I use a lot of the wood ash from our wood burning stove for our chickens' dust bath, but I also use it in the garden. Wood ash has a lot of calcium, and that is really helpful for increasing the pH in acidic soils. Hey, Alaska, what are you doing, huh? This is a spot where Alaska likes to lay down in the snow, and her body heat melts it, and then it has become pure ice. Very, very slick. Have to watch out for spots like that. You like this cold weather, huh? You like this cold weather? Yes, you do, don't you? Yeah. We always try to make sure we have plenty of straw for the bedding for the animals in their various shelters. As I said earlier, all of these animals are very adaptable to cold weather, but you just want to make sure they have somewhere dry that they can get in out of the weather and be very comfortable. During these really cold days, Margie makes some really good gravy, and we add that to the dog's food. Gives them some additional fat and really helps them. And bonus, they absolutely love it. I always give the chickens some scratch greens, usually once a day, but when it's really cold, I give it to them a couple of times a day. I usually give them extra in the evening, and that just helps them through the cold night to keep their body temperature up. We also try to do things to keep the boredom down. We'll make something with some butternut squash and throw the rinds out there, and that just keeps them going too. Cornbread, we always have that on hand because the chickens absolutely love it, and we need something to do with those eggs anyway. And as I said before, we use that heated chicken water that we got at Tractor Supply, but you don't have to go and spend money on one of those. I've heard of people using things like crock pots as well. I think this hay barn might have been one of my better builds. It just has really been key in keeping, well, extra feed in, but keeping that hay dry, it is just really makes all the difference. We also give the goats some grains. We do this twice a day, and some people say you don't need to give them that much except for when they're working, which I feel like our goats are always working. And the females, for instance, are pregnant, so they are working, but nothing else. They enjoy it. Now, I recommend checking your eggs 2 or 3 times a day when it's these extremely cold temperatures. We have had a few that have gotten so cold they froze and then cracked. So it's a good idea to go ahead and get them out as soon as you can. Let's see if she's out of there yet. I think she left and another one came in. I'm gonna go ahead and grab these 3 nice warm eggs. Our big hens were molting right in the late fall, and we weren't getting any eggs from them for quite a while. And look at this now. So these are from 2 of our newer, the Favorels that we have. So they're a little bit smaller than the normal eggs that our other chickens lay, but the ones that they've started laying are huge compared to what they were before. So I don't know, when they stop laying for a while, maybe something tells them they need to give us some bigger eggs. But we enjoy them. Well, I appreciate you watching this video. Hopefully it was helpful in some way. Maybe we're doing something here that you hadn't thought about doing. I know I wish I had known a lot of this before my first winter, and but you learn as you go. And you know, things like having a covered run instead of an open run, that has made a huge difference for us, for our chickens, I should say. But anyway, if you did see that maybe I'm missing something, maybe there's something that I could incorporate into our winter preparation or the way we do things during the winter, please put a comment down below and let me know. That's the way that's how we all learn, right? And I would love to learn any new tips and tricks, things that I can do. I know one thing that a lot of people like to do is get the big square scratch green blocks and put those in the chicken coop. I put those in there the last couple of winters, and they were in there way into the summer. My chickens, for some reason, just didn't seem to like them that much, but I might try it again sometime. Might try to make my own, actually. But anyway, let me know, again, any comments that you have, things that you see that we're doing that we could do better or different. And like I always say, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. And until the next one, God bless you and your family. And stay warm if you can.